Okay guys, so I'm going to run you through from start to finish quite a detailed approach to doing your first ever coffee enema. They're not hard to do, but there are some key things you absolutely have to get right in order to do them safely, in order to get the best results out of them. So let me run you through from start to finish. So the first most important thing is just touching on the coffee. It's a non-negotiable. You must use organic coffee. Absolute non-negotiable. Do not use anything unless it is organic. Beyond that, you want to be looking for 100% Arabica coffee beans. The reason we use this species of coffee bean compared to, say, the Robusta is because it is lower in caffeine and it is highly acidic, which is essential for the therapeutic element of the coffee. To basically get all those beautiful health benefits that we get from a coffee enema, which I'm not going to go through in this video. Basically, you're using 2 to 3 tablespoons of coffee. Now, I recommend, you're going to see a lot of people talk about really expensive coffee that you can buy online and buy in specialized coffee enema groups. In all honesty, as long as it is 100% organic, it is 100% the Arabica, I can't say that word, blend. Ideally medium roast, and as long as you are storing it correctly in the fridge, you're not going to have any worries. Honestly, I don't see the need of you spending over $100, $200 buying the specialized coffee that they recommend from Amazon. You will get just as good results as long as it's organic. So the one I personally use religiously a lot, because I go to Aldi a lot, are the two that you can get from Aldi. This will cost you $5 for 250 grams. It's the cheapest I've ever come across it. I sometimes also use the Woolies Macro brand, another incredible brand. Just depends where I'm shopping for the week. This is fair trade, 100% organic, 100% Arabica. It is perfect. So to prepare your coffee, all you really need to do is, there's 2 options actually. I am now personally using a plunger, okay? For the first 10 years of my coffee enema journey, I always just use a stainless steel pot and boil that on the stove. Both of them need to be prepared for minimum 10 minutes, ideally up to 15 minutes. The idea of that process is going to be that it is going to release the palmitic acid from the coffee, which is essential for the vasodilative effects that you get from your coffee enema, okay? So the vasodilation is what opens up all those bile ducts in the liver to allow your liver to detox and release all the beautiful chemicals that you do not want on your body. So 2 to 3 tablespoons. So I just always do 2 heaped tablespoons. So you might want to do smaller ones than that. Simply filling it up with boiled filtered water. Now I am also at this present time of my journey now using distilled water. So this is distilled water that I've made with my water distiller. I bought that online for around $130. As long as it is filtered water, don't stress too much about the distilled water. I'm only trialing this for now. I've heard about it a long time, but I've always just used my Enargic Kangen K8 filter, and it's been amazing. You definitely do not want to be using any water that's got fluoride in it. So boil this, pour it in over your coffee, and you're going to let that sit for a minimum 10 to 15 minutes. Or boiling it on the stove. What you need to understand is the amount of coffee is paramount, 2 to 3 tablespoons. If you're new to this, you may want to start with 1 tablespoon to see how you go with that, especially if you're very sensitive to caffeine. I know when I first started my coffee enemas, I was bouncing off the walls and thought it was the best feeling ever, because I'm not a coffee drinker. But I soon adapted to that, and I don't get that over the top sort of coffee thing anymore. And most people won't get those nasty effects of the heart racing and stuff like that. It's very different when you're taking it rectally versus taking it by mouth. So I've got that sitting there in the plunger. Now what you need to understand is the goal with a coffee enema, yes, is eventually to be leading up to about 1 litre to 1.5 litres of liquid. Doesn't change the amount of coffee, it's still the 2 to 3 tablespoons. So I'm actually going to put more than that in that for you. But if you're new to this, you're going to start with 250 mils of water max. It will take time to train your bowel to be able to retain that amount of liquid for that amount of time. So take your time. Start with 250 mils of water and build up slowly. It could take you 3 months, it could take you 6 months. There's no wrong or right. You will not be able to retain your coffee solution for the minimum 12 minutes if you go straight in for a litre straight up. So build your way up. You want to retain the solution for longer, because that's when you get maximum glutathione production versus trying to get a larger volume of liquid in there. Does that make sense? So build up from maximum 2 to 3 tablespoons of coffee, 250 mils of water, and build up to that 1 litre, 1.25 litres of water. be on there. Simply let your coffee percolate for 10 to 15 minutes. Do not make your coffee up in advance and store it in the fridge. Coffee has a strong affinity for mold. So you basically want to wake up fresh every day. If you're time poor, use the coffee plunger method. It's literally put it in, grab and go while you're getting ready for work and school and all the rest of that sort of stuff. If you don't happen to use it that morning, for example, you end up, the day gets away from you, definitely put it in the fridge. I do recommend you storing your coffee in the fridge. In all honesty, this isn't always in the fridge that I store mine in, because between my partner and I, we go through a bag in 1 week, and I don't have any issues with mold in this house. So I'm not seeing it as an issue, but it's a precaution to be wary of, because coffee does grow mold quite rapidly. So just be wary, take into account where you're living, your climate. If you better be safe than sorry, it's easy to keep in the fridge, keep it in the fridge. And then that's it. You're literally just letting that sit there. The next part, I'm going to go over the actual Enema kit. So these are the specific Enema kits that I personally sell. These are what I call a starter kit. They are a basic entry-level kit. They're only $25 to purchase. They're easy to use, they're easy to clean, they're easy to store, they're easy to travel with. They're a low-cost entry point, so they're not a big gamble. I do recommend eventually, if you become a seasoned coffee enema and you commit to this process regularly and you become a daily user, upgrading to a more advanced kit that is going to have a silicone tip, that is going to have a bigger volume. You can get stainless steel buckets, you can still get PBA-free plastic buckets. These are PBA-free plastic kits. There's no wrong or right, but this is a great starting point. One sort of thing that you'll hear a lot of people talking about is going to be the tip. Now, when you get this kit, just to show you, you get a little instruction thing in it, and then I'll show you the pieces one by one. You get 2 tips in your Enema kit. Throw this one in the bin straight away. This is for vaginal douching. Yes, you could use an Enema kit for vaginal using in the incident that you had a vaginal infection, but other than that, we don't recommend vaginal juicing. So you throw the big one in the bin, and this is the small tip that you're inserting. If I put it next to my small finger, it's quite similar. It's very small, it's very smooth. Now, yes, it is a hard plastic, so a lot of people say that it is safer to use a silicone edge tip. I agree in some ways, but it's very, very difficult to do any damage with something like this, because you're only inserting this a tiny bit. So as long as you're inserting this slowly and gently, using some lubricant, following the contour of the bowel while lying on your side, it's virtually impossible that you're going to do any damage. A lot of people carry on and go, oh my God, you're going to perforate your bowel. The bowel is a sensitive organ, like anything, yes, but as long as you're not shoving it in for leather, you're going to be fine. It's going to be attached to the hose. You've got this big thing, so you're not going to be able to accidentally put it any further than the end of this tip anyway, I guarantee it, because you have this stopper here. So there's no worries there. This is the bag. This is PBA free, as I said. The hose simply plugs in at the end here. Very, very simple, very straightforward. It is a gravity-fed mechanism. So you've got that. You've got your 2-meter hose, and you've got your tip at the end. Very, very straightforward. When you commence your coffee enema journey, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to fill this up with water, filtered water, and you're going to run a water flush first. You're going to have a bowel motion first in the morning, and then you're going to put some water in there. Any amount of water doesn't really matter. The whole idea, actually, I'm just going to make sure this is off. As this is, it is closed. Okay, if I were to turn it like that, it is now open, so the water would come through. So checking that that's closed. And then you're going to put an amount of filtered water into your thing. I'm just going to do this, so I'm going to demonstrate the whole thing for you. Again, the amount of water you're putting in doesn't really matter. The idea of a water flush is literally just, water's going over here, is just to initiate a peristaltic wave in order to completely empty out the entire contents of your bowel, so that when you are putting the coffee solution in, the medicinal solution, you're getting the full benefits and you're getting all that detoxification happening in a clean, clear environment. So now I've got my Enema kit. I've only put about half a litre in there. You can put up to a litre in there. It doesn't really matter. There's no wrong or right. And I'm going to show you exactly the process of how you're going to do this now. So I'm now in my little Enema station, aka the bathroom. I'm just going to give you a quick show what this looks like, how I set this up. You can see there I have the toilet, the bathroom, I have a yoga mat, and I literally have my pillow from off my bed. Some pretty simple stuff to set up, okay? So what I use also, hanging it over the shower wall, this is simply like a pot plant hook, but you could bend an old wire coat hanger into this sort of shape type thing. just as easily. Hang it over the shower curtain, and then you're hanging your Enema kit up over the hook and let it to go. It is a gravity-fed situation, so literally then all you need to do is lay on the floor, insert with a bit of lubricant, and allow it to move through. Now, a troubleshooting thing that I do recommend is simply just run a little bit of your water throughout to get that flow happening, and also release any air bubbles. If you get a lot of air bubbles in there, the air is going to go inside you. You're going to end up with some gas, potentially some cramping if you're sensitive, and you may not be able to retain that coffee solution for the 12 to 15 minutes as said. So that is as simple as that. For that, you just literally running that water in. You do not need to retain that water. So as soon as you get the urge to move your bowels, you get up, hop on the toilet, flush all that extra contents out of your bowel, and then off you go again to start your coffee enema. Okay, so we're back in the kitchen. You've done your water flush, you've flushed all the contents out, and now you're simply putting your coffee into the kit. Again, checking that this is the right way so it's closed. Secondly, making sure the temperature of the coffee is not going to burn you is going to be really, really important. So you've let this percolate for 10 to 15 minutes max. What I now do is I put some ice cubes in my kit. Just something I prepared earlier. So I just get some ice cubes. This is all made with filtered water, of course. I literally put, you're going to have to work out the ratios yourself. I know that I'm making an enema for up to 1.25 litres. That's my happy amount that I know I can safely hold for 15 minutes. I've been doing enemas for 10 years though, so know that you won't get up to that straight away. So I always put about 4 cubes of ice in there based on my size ice cubes. And then you're simply putting the coffee into your kit. Obviously making sure you're pouring slowly, that you're not getting extra coffee granules in it. If you're just using a stainless steel pot, you want to make sure you're pouring the coffee solution into the kit slowly so those granules don't get in, because they will clog up your kit. So you want to make sure you're filtering off the grains as carefully as possible. Now, the key is absolutely 100%, definitely make sure that you test the water temperature. You want it to be lukewarm. I'm actually going to add more boiling water to this now because I like to make mine at least 1.25 litres, as I've said. Okay, and I'm testing that. The ice cubes are just melting now, but I'm testing that. It's lukewarm, it's good to go. Some people have made the mistake of putting liquid straight into this and then boiling liquid ending up in the tube and then doing their enema so quickly that there's still boiling water in that when they insert it. So just be careful of the whole way through the hose process. So that's as simple as that for the coffee now. So same deal again, you've got to make sure you get that flow happening. It's just more of a gravity-fed troubleshooting thing. Point it back into the shower or the bath or the sink, whatever you've got access to with your setup. Let's let that flow to start, get all the air out. You may lose 50 mils, no big deal. I've now shut that back off again and simply jumping down into position, okay? You want to do this laying down, all right? There's literally laying down this side. Don't worry, I'm not going to physically do it to show you, but just to give you an idea, I'm laying on my yoga mat. I've got my pillow. It's very, very simple. It's hanging down from the shower. Using a tiny bit of moisturizer, good quality organic one. Don't use anything toxic or chemical. The idea of a coffee enema is we're getting toxins out. A little bit of coconut oil, olive oil is fine. Tiny bit on the tip, literally, and then you're just inserting it while you're on your side. Allow the liquid to slowly drain into you. It will take 1 minute max, okay? If it's not happening, it's usually because you've got air bubbles stuck in there or you've got coffee granules stuck in there, and then you'll have to stop it, clear it out, go all over again. Allow that all to run in. Literally, I'm not going to do it for you now. And then I literally just lay on my side. Now it's ideal to lay on your right side, and that allows the solution to drain into your liver. A lot of other people will simply lie with their legs up on the bathroom wall, very simply, okay? You can then massage your tummy if you feel you want to, but basically I then spend that next time setting that time, and then, like I said, you're working it for a minimum of 12 minutes. Ideally 15 minutes is the goal. No more than 15 minutes. Once you get beyond that sort of 12-minute mark, 12 to 15 minutes, all the toxins that your liver is spitting out are now going to start potentially being reabsorbed back into your bloodstream. So 15 minutes is absolute max. Set a timer. You'll get to a point where you'll be able to just walk around the house with this coffee solution in you, which I can, but I don't encourage that. You want this process to be a healing process. I'll double my coffee enema where I'll put the castor oil pack on my liver at the same time. I'll be writing social media posts, checking emails, and just relaxing. You don't want to be getting up doing housework, and you also definitely do not want to leave it in for longer than 15 minutes because just all that hard work of detoxing you've done is completely lost. Now, in that 12-minute period, what's happening is your entire blood is circulating through your liver 7 times. So because all those bile ducts are open in the liver is then capturing all the toxins, all the chemicals, all the excess hormone metabolites, everything that shouldn't be in there. It's being caught in that filter, being the liver. And then when your timer goes up and you simply get up, hop onto the toilet and release, what will happen is all those chemicals, all those toxins are coming out of your body. So a coffee enema is the most incredible spring cleanse that you can give your body, okay? Another little troubleshooting thing, make sure you're hydrated when you do this, because if you are really dehydrated and you do your coffee solution, some people report, oh my God, I put a litre in, I swear to God, nothing barely came out. Just means that your body's actually absorbed all the water because you're really chronically dehydrated. So make sure you've had a few glasses of water in the morning beforehand. If you do start becoming a regular daily coffee enema person, which I highly encourage if that's something that you get relief from and benefits from, as you know, the coffee enemas for me personally have kept my skin clean and clear from all acne, from all eczema. They keep my weight healthy, they keep my periods pain-free. So for me, it's a daily routine for me. Just know that in the detoxification process, you will lose some minerals because that's the necessary process of breaking down chemicals. Essentially, think of it like we escort toxins out of the body with vitamins and minerals in the process of breaking them down. In particular, the 2 minerals you will start to lose a little of if you are doing them daily, a little bit of magnesium and a little bit of potassium. So I recommend after a coffee enema, always have some kind of electrolyte replacement. I have a green juice every day, a cold pressed juice, so that covers me. I also do supplement with magnesium because that's just something that works for my body and because I'm doing them daily. Not saying you have to supplement with magnesium, just make sure you're getting some high magnesium foods in your diet, dark chocolate, almonds, nuts and seeds, fresh fruit and veggies, whole foods basically, you're gonna get enough. But yeah, definitely know that if you do them regularly, you just need to keep in check your potassium and your magnesium. That is essentially how you do a coffee enema. It's quite straightforward, it's quite easy. Once you've done it the first time, it becomes easy, it's not so clunky. Yes, the first few times you're gonna be referring back to this video and back and forth and mucking around and trying to make sure you're getting it right. But essentially it is a really easy process to do. It is a very simple, pain-free process to do. Some people can get cramps, and that's usually because they've got compaction, as in build-up of toxic waste and toxins in their fecal mass inside their bowel. If you've got excess gas, it's happening inside your digestive system, you can get a bit crampy. And then if you get the urge to go and you've only been holding for 5 minutes, always honor that urge and just go to the toilet. Like I said, it may take time to build you up to that 12 minutes. 12 minutes is the goal because that's when you get maximum glutathione production, which is amazing antioxidant, great for your detoxification, for your immune system, for anti-aging. But if you get a real cramp, like urge, oh my God, I gotta go, don't hurt yourself and try and push through it. Just honor that. Know that that time will increase with time. Sometimes you get little mini waves and you just breathe and they disappear after 5 seconds. That's not what I'm talking about. If you get a real like, oh my God, I gotta go, the gallbladder can contract as well to start releasing cholesterol stones and bits and pieces as well, like little cholesterol stones, like big things. I'm not talking about full-on stones. You'll see candida, you may see parasites, you'll see all sorts of junk and mess and undigested food that has been stuck in you that you're going to start to see releasing. So you can imagine why this is so good for your skin. And then beyond that, after a coffee enema, as long as you're rehydrating, occasionally, if you're extremely toxic, you can feel nauseous after a coffee enema. That means that your liver and your gallbladder and the rest of your system has dumped a whole lot of toxins. So it's great that it's now out. That won't always be the case. If you start off getting that initially, you can commit to the process and do coffee enemas regularly, that process will go away. So know that I know, for example, if I've been drinking alcohol, if I've had more drinks than I should have on a night and I do a coffee enema the next day, I can feel a little bit nauseous for 10-15 minutes after. And it just tells me, yeah, well, my body just dumped a whole lot of toxins, no wonder. So it's nothing to be afraid of. The main thing is obviously just also if you do happen to have hemorrhoids, any issues, anal fissures and stuff going on. You may also find that the silicone cap can be easier for you. To buy an enema kit with a silicone thing, you're looking at over sort of $100, but that's an option when you're ready to sort of upgrade to that sort of kit. This is absolutely a perfect kit to get you started. I still use this kit on and off myself personally. I do now have a bucket with a silicone tip, but I take this anytime I travel. So it's still a perfectly great option. That's how you do a coffee enema.